Peace of Heart brings people from darkness into the light. It brings these young people with autism from no voice into having this voice. It brings people from isolation into community. And so truly it is like from the silence and the solitude into this new world for people that is full of color and sound and beauty.
So I have two older daughters. They're 22 and getting ready to be 21. Gentry's a 21-year-old, and they both struggle with learning disabilities. And it was a really tough way to be a first-time mom. Unfortunately, I kind of bought into what the doctors said at first, which was she is severe on the autism scale. Intelligence is very low. Don't try diet therapy. Don't try any kind of therapy. It'll just strain your family too much because she's probably going to end up in an institution. 25% of autistic children are nonverbal. It's the hardest group of children to reach, and it's because the whole paradigm, which with they're looked at, is utterly false. It's completely incorrect.
I don't even call it suppress. Maybe autism suppresses passion. I don't know. Maybe we suppress the passion in it. But any passion, desire that's suppressed it's gonna explode in other ways. You know, she did little paintings at school. You know, one of her teachers started her painting, and she'd come home and we went, "That's pretty cool." You know, and it was like that big. And then she kept coming home, and then we bought some bigger paper, and then we went to a canvas. Now we do big canvases, and it's fun. It's just full of energy. I mean, you see her paintings and they're just bright, lots of motion, lots of color. Just when you see her, it's just very unplanned, there's no concept, and it's just painting. But when it's done, you see the energy in it, and you see it's almost chaotic, but you see it's passion.
They know in public what is expected of them, and they can't make their bodies comply. There's a motor connection that's broken. And so if you're just looking at their bodies and their unintentional behavior, you'll never know the person with autism. And the biggest breakthrough that's happened in our community here is that there's a type of typing called facilitated communication that enables these persons to gain the motor control that they need to be able to release their words with an iPad. One of the first words Gentry typed, the first word she ever typed with me, was hope. And as a parent and not hearing her voice for 18 years, I just like my heart dropped out. And that's all I ever needed to hear. Like, I thought, gosh, that's all she ever said, one thing to me. It's all I need to hear. And later that day, her consultant came and said, in a very gentle voice, said, Gentry, I hear that you typed hope to your mother, and I was wondering if you had more to say to her. And she typed, I love my mom. She is my hope. And so, you know, I'm not the only mom that has these kind of thoughts and feelings, but I can't not give her more hope and more hope. And I won't stop until she has the same opportunities that every person in society has. Really neat, the fun treat of being previous discriminated or unseen person to be the free, loved person that
I really didn't know what an impact it was going to have on me until the first day I went with Amy to the facilitated communication seminar. And I sat there and I looked around and I realized that every single parent in that room sitting there was me. And how I didn't have a room like that when I was going through that with my own situation. I had none of that support, none of that love, none of that embracing that is there now.
One boy called it a torture chamber. Gentry called it, she's used torture, but she also called it a dark abyss. There's one boy that always compares it to slavery. The number one thing that Gentry and her peers will say when they learn how to type is, I am in here, I've always been in here, I'm intelligent, I'm smart. So that's number one. But as soon as they get that out, the number two thing they say is, I want to save my friends. I want to help my friends. And Gentry typed, I want to rescue the fallen friends with sad ears. And we really truly have the potential to change the face of autism. And there's nothing more that needs to happen than we need to look at these kids as intelligent. So you saw Gentry go from being completely agitated and frustrated to making a choice that she wanted to talk, and how happy she became. The brain is rewiring itself with the typing.
Nice, you did it. Cool.
She can say hi and bye now. She can say paint, and she's learning to say love and hope. And so yes, it's really cool to see that her siblings are responding to her and that she's responding to them, and that we can just grow that into bigger things. What's really important is to have a clinical trial done that shows some good behavioral outcomes. And we had such an incredible opportunity to fly out to Texas and meet with the largest hospital group in the world, who are really responsible for driving research. She said, just yesterday I had to have a family leave my office. I could do nothing for them. And she is in the upper echelon of clinicians. And she said, now I can tell these people that there's hope for their children. And it's really, really exciting because they want to do a pilot study on our group. They're fast-tracking this research. And I will rejoice in the day when this clinical trials, show what we've seen, which is joy and laughter and language come. That with the typing comes verbal language. And it's really not short of miraculous. It's really incredible to have this typing so that we can get to know her, really get to know her thoughts, dreams, and hopes.
An outpouring of love just came from that. We have volunteers that just stopped by our farm. The chefs have responded so tremendously to our produce and to what we're doing, and we have our organic farm is one part of that. Our art program is another part of that. And we also have the residence, the home. So there are all these components that work together to create Piece of Heart. And what's so cool about it is overlaying that is a vocational program for kids and young adults with autism and their families. And we've been able to take these beautiful pieces of artwork and create yoga pants, table runners, pillows, all different kinds of things. And we're continuing to grow that line because there is such a demand for it. I'm so happy that people are really seeing her art for the quality that it is, that they're not just purchasing this art because it's for a good cause. The quality of her art and the depth of her art and her expression is really profound.
We found out Gentry was an artist before she could type, before we knew she had intelligence. So we pushed her. I learned a lot about art, but her art, everybody saw something in her art. And they're like, wow, that's pretty deep. She did that. And then once she started typing, she goes, I feel like a person because people think I'm an artist. See that? People started looking at her differently, and it made her feel different. And guess what? Her behaviors went away when people looked at her differently. Jesus says, when the eyes are full of light, the body's full of light. When the eye is full of darkness, the whole body's dark. When you start going inward and looking at the person, the eyes become full of light. When you try to control outside, ethics, behavior, all these things, your eyes are full of darkness. And you're laying a heavy burden on people. You're controlling them. That's the way I want to look at autism. I want to celebrate with autism. I don't want to control it. I don't want to make it go away. I want to celebrate with it. So what this represents is, yes, it's sustainability. Yes, it can produce an income. Yes, it can produce a job. But what it's producing for really anybody is a brainless, mindless task where the body and the brain can relax and process. That's why we did the garden, because it just naturally does that. And the home will be a place where we will recognize the value of the person right off the bat, presumed competence. We will encourage them in all of their ways, their desires, their dreams, and we're going to celebrate. That house is a house of celebration.
And this is a group home for some very fortunate young women with autism, but it's a community-based program that's going to welcome any person with autism in the community. So our scope is big, and we're an open door. Our group home is going to have big family dinners every Sunday night, and anybody that wants to come and see what we do or get involved or how they can get involved is going to be more than welcome.
You know, I think what would be kind of cool is like, you know, what do you see? You see a garden.
Yeah.
I see a shift in the brain, or I see unconscious meditation, those kind of things. You see a chicken house, I see a chicken, I see God talking through a chicken.
So I'm still not sure if you were joking or not about God talking through a chicken.
Absolutely, I am so serious. I am so dead serious about it. You don't believe me, do you?
He's interested. Have you had a personal experience with chicken?
All the time. They don't speak verbally, but the way they speak is they speak to the heart. Just like nature speaks to the heart. Just like art speaks to the heart. Just like anything beautiful speaks to the heart. Just like desires come from the heart, and they have to keep going and going and going. That's the heart. Piece of heart community.